One of the joys of the internet is being able to find and connect with people from your past. So you can imagine my delight when I heard from Trevor, a guy I went to grade school with. Trevor is a widower who pads out his pension by working as a security guard. And one of the sites he looks after is our old grade school, now slated for demolition. Believe it or not, they plan to build new houses on that lot, a new subdivision, Trevor told me in a recent email. My job was just to check the exterior, to make sure there were no squatters, no break-ins. But I did have a key to the place, and well, I couldn't resist taking a peek inside. Big mistake. Big mistake. From Trev's email. It felt a little strange and a little creepy to walk those halls again after, 50 years? Everything was so small. I mean, I practically had to get down on my knees to use the drinking fountain. So I took a spin down memory lane and visited some of our old classrooms, and the staff room, and the principal's office. I even found the strap and gave one of my hands a lick. Ouch! And both the boys' and the girls' washrooms. The girls' washroom. Woo-hoo! And, of course, the gym/auditorium. The auditorium seemed pretty tiny, too. I went backstage and remembered about all the times we'd sit back there telling ghost stories by the light from a flashlight. I found a basketball and yeah, I had to take a shot. Swished a few through the net, too. Swished a few. I was just leaving the auditorium when I heard a most prosaic sound, but a sound that was totally shocking and totally out of place in the current situation and in the dark. It was the flushing of a toilet. What the? I already visited both washrooms, and obviously there was no one there. It came to me that there might be something wrong with one of the commodes that made it flush by itself. But whatever the cause, I had to check it out. It had come from the boys' washroom. At least I thought it had. And so I went in, although I admit hesitating at the door for just a second. But then I pulled myself together and went in. As you know, the boys had 3 stalls with high wooden walls, and I checked all 3. Nothing. Of course there was no one there, just total silence, with nary a drip to be heard. I stepped back into the hallway, feeling sheepish. Behind me, a toilet flushed. I was back in there in a flash, and with my flash, checked all the stalls. Again, nothing. I headed back out into the darkened hallway, determined to get out of there before something else happened. I admit, I was getting spooked. And in the auditorium, someone started dribbling a basketball. I ran to the auditorium, unlocked the doors, shone my light, and saw the basketball sitting just where I'd left it. I turned off my light, then slowly closed and locked the auditorium door and heard someone dribbling a basketball. It was time to leave. I headed down the west wing. Earlier, I thought how short it was, but now it seemed incredibly long. And as I did, the now continuous dribbling was joined by another sound, the return of the flushing toilets. Toilets! All the cans in both washrooms, boys and girls, were flushed over and over and over again, as if someone or something was trying to flood the joint. I wasn't running yet. In fact, I didn't start running until the locker doors started to slam. You know how they had lockers lining the hall on both sides of the west wing? Well, as I headed for the exit, they began opening and slamming shut, at first behind me, then next to me, then in front of me. Bang, 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 bang! I had almost reached the exit in safety when I felt compelled to turn around, and that's when I saw it. A ghostly figure in white was floating down the hall towards me, and as I stared in shock, I realized that its head and body were made of wads of toilet paper, some of which streamed out behind it. It looked like a mummy wrapped up in off-white bandages with a toilet tissue face that was crushed and caved in, with a sucking expression that radiated... what? Hunger? It was almost upon me, so I slammed out the exit and out into the night. Of course, I neglected to lock the door, so I had to go back, which I did the next day, in broad daylight. The hallway was dead quiet, a silence which to my imagination had a hush of expectancy. A lot of toilet paper lay on the floor just inside the door. I thought about picking it up, but something told me not to. As I locked the door, I heard it, off in the darkness, the flushing of a toilet. I will never go in there again. Trev. The moral of the story? Being pursued by a toilet paper ghost would be a real bummer. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pixier, that's PX here, while the music was The Dreadful, The Dread, by that wonderful patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod. Thank you for listening.